3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, July 1st, 2018. In this video, I want to talk about an article that came out about Bitcoin, really about the markets in general, I guess you could say. And it was written by a guy, Joseph Young, who I follow. He's an investor, analyst in the crypto market, and always has great content. And I saw this article come out today, and it was perfect because in a live stream yesterday, I talked about a couple things. I talked about, and somebody actually brought it up in a comment, so whoever you are, I forget your name, brought up the speed of this correction, the speed of this bear market happening compared to the 2014 bear market. And this article talks about that. What was also interesting about this article is it mentions a $3,000 to $5,000 Bitcoin bottom, possible bottom, which is something I've been talking about and tracking on this channel if you've been watching. So let's jump in and look at this. So Joseph Young, and here's a perfect example of why I follow him. This is just one tweet he had the other day. 30 people asked me how I saw $5,600 for Bitcoin and $400 for Ethereum. I didn't. I said I'll use my remaining fiat to buy more Bitcoin and Ethereum if it falls to these numbers. I'm not concerned about catching the bottom. I'm not a day trader. I invest in long term. Does that not sum up Crypto Capital Venture? Does that not sum up what we're doing here and probably what most of you do? I read your comments. I try and talk to a lot of and interact with a lot of you, and I know a lot of you are long. And this is a perfect illustration of Joseph Young and his approach and his investment approach. So let's look at his article that he wrote about 2014 versus 2018 Bitcoin price correction. This year will likely be significantly shorter. So I highlighted some interesting points that I wanted to point out to you. So it says from December 4th, 2013 to January 4th, 2015, in a 400-day period, over a year, the Bitcoin price dropped by over 80%, recording the worst correction in its history. In 2014, it took Bitcoin 300 days to drop by more than 70%. In 2018, it took Bitcoin less than 200 days to decline by over 72%. And in contrast to its correction in 2014, Bitcoin is falling significantly faster than it did 4 years ago. So, and it's so true, right? And that's why it was a great point that the person on the live stream made last night was the speed of which we are dropping and the speed in which this bear market has happened in comparison to 2014. And there's a little bug on my screen. So it continues. If the price chart of Bitcoin year to date is compared with the price chart of Bitcoin from December 2013 to January 2015, with the chart of Bitcoin from 2013 to 2015 compressed, the price trend of Bitcoin seemed nearly identical to its price trend in 2014, with one key difference: speed. And it's so true. We looked at this in a couple of videos, I think on the live stream yesterday. You can see the similarities and the synergies between the two. However, you do see the blue, which is our current market, and the speed in which we have fallen and the speed in which we've even kind of followed that same trend of the Bitcoin bear market. And this is why I reference that bear market often when looking at where we are in today's market, because there is a correlation. There is something there with that data that we have. So, and here we go. As BitMEX CEO Arthur Hayes said during his interview with CNBC Fast Trader on June 30th, it's possible that Bitcoin bottoms out in the range of $3,000 to $5,000 and experience an 80+% correction. And that's what we've been talking about. I always say if you have fiat, it's always nice to buy dips, right? It's always nice to cost average in, and it would be a heavy buy zone in that $3,000 to $5,000 Bitcoin for me. And I've been talking about that. And I thought it was interesting that Arthur Hayes apparently thinks the same thing. Moreover, as Hayes said, an unforeseen regulatory change by the US government or any other leading cryptocurrency market could lead the price of Bitcoin and other major digital assets to recover with strong momentum and demand, especially if an ETF or a publicly tradable instrument is launched in the US financial market. And I know Tyler S. just did a video on ETF, possibly driving up the price if that were to happen. Very true. So things like that, we have no idea timing wise when or how or what. So we can only sit, right? We can only sit and kind of just take data we have, like this article here covers that data very nicely. But I wanted to bring it up because I just talked about this in yesterday's live stream. We talked about the correlation between 2014 and 2018, and we also talked about that $3,000 to $5,000 Bitcoin. Now, in general, I wanted to also go over this just because we are where we are, and we could go lower. We might go lower, but what this tweet here on the screen says, I'm not concerned about catching the bottom. I'm not a day trader. I invest in long term. If that's your mindset, then, and I know we cover charts every day. We're always trying to look for a breakout because I do it because it's exciting, right? I do it because it's always nice to anticipate if we are going to go lower. And I like documenting that on video and kind of sharing that with you and talking to all of you about it. But let's not get emotionally attached to doing that, right? So we obviously track price. When it goes up, we're all hype. When it goes down, we're all sad. But if we can always separate the emotional aspect of that, because just like he says here, I'm not concerned about catching the bottom. I'm not either. And that's why I'm always kind of trying to average in, and I'm always trying to accumulate in those really, really oversold areas, right? Those really strong dip areas. And we've done it pretty successfully thus far, I would say. And I invest long term. I invest long term too. We're talking years here. This isn't like, man, it needs to be at a certain price by the end of July type of deal, or the end of 2018 type of deal. So just want to encourage you to kind of keep things in check, keep your emotions in check. If we get a breakout, don't go crazy. Don't go crazy chasing that. Be comfortable with your position where we are now. And that's probably my best encouragement. That's my best advice. Anticipate an upside, anticipate a downside, and just get ready. Because if you're in this for the long term, things are going to get exciting. And in my opinion, things are going to be really, really okay and good. So those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments. If you're not a subscriber, I would love to have you as part of our channel. Always try and kind of give you an objective, my objective opinion. And we definitely do things a little bit more conservatively here and don't do a lot of predictions, but appreciate you watching. And as always, I will see you in the next video, and God bless.